Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Guys, it is that time of the year again, the month of November. And if you're Barbadian, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that time of the month again. We make a special dish. Well, we make something special, let's just say that way, in the island of Barbados in the month of November. If you're not a Barbadian, you don't know what I'm talking about, but we make something called Conkies. Conkies are usually a tradition that's made in the month of November. Now, people make them whenever they want to, but the tradition is we make them the month of November. And I go by the old tradition, and that's the only time that you would see me making conkies is November. So I look forward to this month because this is where there's a lot of goodies, and I get to make conkies for you again, and I love it, love it, love it. So today, guys, we're gonna make some conkies. And I am gonna start by gratering some stuff, and I want to show you the stuff that I'm gonna be gratering. So in the 17th century, there was this man named Guy Fawkes who wanted to blow up Parliament with the king inside of it. So some person, an informant, told the king what was going on, and the king was able to capture Guy Fawkes and all that stuff. So the king survived. So because the king was so happy that he survived this blowing up thing that they wanted to do to him, he decided that he was going to make it a holiday. It was going to be, he wanted everybody to celebrate. Okay, celebrate that day as Guy Fawkes Day. So one thing that people did in the island of Barbados is they celebrated with something called Conkies, and this is what we're going to be making today. Conkies are made with things that you grow in your garden, you know, that people worked on and grew through the years, and I'm going to tell you all about that as we go along. But it's a tradition in Barbados where everybody makes conkies in the month of November. November is special because not only were you celebrating Guy Fawkes Day, but as time went on, people also celebrated independence, which is the 30th of November. You get to celebrate independence in Barbados. So today we're gonna make some conkies, and I'm gonna show you, if you're new to this channel, guys, I'm gonna show you exactly how to make conkies. The hardest part about making conkies is gratering all this stuff. Gratering, but I have a little helper today that's going to help me to grate this stuff, because I'm telling you, you don't want me to grate the conkies, okay? Because I grated my nails, I grated my fingers, my thumb, everything end up in it. So I'm not going to grate her, but I have a little machine that's going to help me. If you don't mind gratering, this is the hardest part of it. If you can get this part done, then it's going to be easy. So guys, let's go ahead and start. Oh, let me show you what I have first before I get started. I have here a big old pumpkin. We're going to use a pumpkin. I'm not going to use all of this. I'm going to use some of this. So we have a pumpkin here. We have some coconut. You need some dry coconut. I'm going to grate these coconuts right here, and some sweet potato. These three is what I have to grate. These is important to go into my conkies, and as soon as I get these all grated, I'm gonna come back and show you the next step. So stay tuned. guys, so we finished with our gratering. Over here we have our sweet potato, over here is the coconut, and over here is the pumpkin. So this is what we're going to be using in the conky. So this is one step that's completed, so now we have to go on to the second step. Okay, I had that little helper that helped me because I don't like grating. I have a friend that told me I love to grate. I was like, I don't. Anyway, now we have banana leaves. I bought this from the supermarket in a pack just like this. So this is what we're gonna do with our banana leaf. This is what we're gonna be using. Now guys, for some of you that live abroad and may not have banana leaves, it's okay guys. You can get cut-right paper, parchment paper. So now you can wrap them in a parchment paper and then wrap it in foil to make sure that it's nice and sealed. Don't wrap it in foil first. Wrap it in parchment, then the foil, okay? If you have banana leaf, this is how you're gonna do it. If you're on the island, you can just go pick a couple leaves, but of course we can't. So this is a leaf right here, and you can see that it is torn. So we're not really we're gonna still use this, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna use that. But this, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. Just like this right here, as you can see, I have a little scissors right here. And I like to kind of cut the edge a little bit. And sometimes you might see at the bottom down here is kind of like a little withered. I'm going to just cut that. Okay, so now I have one leaf, but we're not going to use it like this because it'll just break on you. So come over to the stove. Let me show you what I'm going to do with this leaf. So over here I have my stove on and I have it up to high. And now I'm going to take my leaf and just put it here. And this is what I'm going to do all over it, like this. You don't want to just like leave it in one spot because obviously it will burn. They just move it around like that. And you just keep doing that until you do the whole thing. And once I do that to the leaf, then I'm going to turn it on the other side. Kind of like swinging it a little bit. And what this is going to do is this is going to make it, instead of it ripping, it's going to make it easier to fold like this if you have to fold it, okay? So you'll do this and then you'll go on to the next step. Once I go over the stove and I just heat this up on the stove, it kills whatever bacteria or anything that may be on it. The heat would kill it. Not only that, but then it becomes more pliable for when you're going to fold it. When you put your conkies in there and you want to fold, it becomes easier for you to fold it and you can just bend it like that. Makes it much easier, okay? So now I have my work cut out for me because I have to go ahead and do all of this. So I'm gonna do this the same way I just did this, and then I'll be back as soon as I am all done. Okay, guys, so now I'm finished swinging the leaves. So this is the next step after you've done that. What I do after I'm finished is I take a paper towel and I just gently go over the leaf. Just in case there's anything on there, you just make sure that you get it off. And you're going to do this, you know, for each leaf. You're going to kind of just wipe it off like that. Make sure your leaf is nice and clean. I also have some, as you will see over here, there's some extra. These are some smaller pieces that, because the thing about banana leaf is they're very fragile, so they break very easily. So those extra pieces you put there. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with those extra pieces a little bit later, but don't throw them away. You can switch those as well and keep those. Also, if you are breaking these off of a tree and you have the shoots, say for instance that you do not have a steamer, you put the shoots, all the ends of leaves, you don't throw these away, you put this to the bottom of the pot and then you put a little bit of water in there and then your conkies will sit on top of that. So the shoots, which made like little sticks and so on, you break off, you put all that to the bottom. mix your conkies, put your conkies on top so the water is really not covering your conkies, okay? I have a steamer, so I'm not going to use that. I'll use my steamer and then to make the conkies, all right? So let me just go ahead and I'm going to continue to do this just to clean the leaves a little bit, okay? Just to make sure there's nothing lingering on them. And when I am done, we will go on to the next step. It's a process, guys. If you like conkies, it's a process. I don't mind the process because I do it once a year. I only do it in the month of November, and I'll probably do this a couple of times in the month of November, and then I don't do it again. I don't eat it again for the rest of the year because I'm not gonna make it, okay? So the process is a little bit long because it's you know, the gratering and doing this. But once this is all done, it's like 1, 2, 3. It goes very quickly. So let me continue to clean my leaves, and then I will go on to the next step and show you what we do next. All right, guys. So now we go on to the next step. This is steps, guys. It takes a little while, so you gotta be up for the, you know, to be able to do it. So now the next step is getting all your ingredients together, which I have here before I get started combining everything, because this is the easy part. This is just combining everything together. So let me show you what I have first, and then we will combine them, okay? This is called conkies. So the main ingredient here is this cornmeal. You need cornmeal, and this is something that, you know, the older people did back then to prepare for the month of November. What they will do, they will plant the corn early. A month of September, October, we would harvest the corn. I remember like shelling the corn, and then once we do that, we'll put the corn out to dry in the sun. It is hot in Barbados, so the sun dry it. Then we used to take that corn to a supermarket called Hill Supermarket. They had a mill that used to grind the corn and make it into the meal. So everybody would take theirs. Guys, I remember taking the corn there and leaving there with my feet white, having to go on the bus and take the bus with my feet white from all that flour and everything that, you know. But anyway, you don't want to hear all of that now. But this is what people do to prepare for the month of November, when they're gonna have like a whole sack of corn, and they're that is ground into meal. And this meal that they got made lots of different things, and one of the things they made was conkies, okay? So this is 2 pounds of cornmeal right here. Over here I have half. You don't need a lot of flour, so this is just half a cup of flour. Over here I showed you my potatoes that I grated earlier. This is 1 pound of potatoes. Over here for this pumpkin look nice and yellow, right? It looks nice and yellow. This pumpkin, this is 2.5 pounds of pumpkin. You need 1 whole coconut grated, 1 coconut. Over here, now this is a controversial every year, because people are like, should we put raisins? Should we not put raisins? Some people like raisins, some people don't. But I say put a little bit of raisins, because when you put a little bit of raisins, you could see the raisins you're eating. You could pick a raisin out if you like, because some people like it, some people don't, and you're gonna be making for other people, right? So you put a little bit of raisins for all these ingredients. Maybe like 1 or 2 you might find inside of your conkies. So a little bit of raisins is okay. This is a 1/4 cup of raisins. In here I have 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now this also calls for 1 teaspoon of spice, allspice. I forgot my allspice at the supermarket, so we're not gonna use the allspice. But if you have it, 1 teaspoon of allspice, okay? I have here 8 ounces of butter, and I have 2 ounces of lard. Now this is not lard. Well, the recipe calls for lard, which is years ago people used to use lard, right? I said don't use lard anymore. I use coconut oil instead, because it's a little bit healthier for you. So I use my coconut oil, and believe me when I tell you, it does not change the taste, okay? So some people are worried, is it going to change the taste? No, it does not, okay? So this is 2 ounces of coconut oil here, And I have 2 eggs. Now, I always get a lot of licks for this every year. You do not add eggs to the conkies. Guys, I add 2 eggs and I do it every year. My conkies come out tasting really delicious. And I think the eggs and milk, I'm going to use a little milk. I have 1 cup of milk, and I always say you don't add egg, you don't add milk. I use it, and my conkies are nice and smooth. They're not sticking in my throat, because you know sometimes they're dry. They're not dry, they're nice and smooth. So you should go ahead and give it a try if you want to. If you prefer the other way to leave that out, you're welcome to do that. But this makes it smooth to me, so I enjoy using it, okay? I have here 2 cups of water that I'm going to be adding, and 2 pounds of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. You can use a little bit less if you think it's going to be too sweet. You can use a little less. This also called for 1 teaspoon. Look, I bought this when I was in Barbados. See, I still have a lot in it. 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence, okay, and 1 teaspoon of almond essence. And of course, I left the almond essence at the store. Okay, I forgot to buy it. So don't give me a hard time. So I also call for some almond essence as well. But these are all the ingredients that I have here that we're going to be using, and it's just a matter of dumping everything together. So make sure you have a nice big bowl, okay, because you're going to need a big bowl. And all we're going to be doing really is dumping everything in here. So I have my cornmeal right here. I'm going to put that in there. 2 pounds of cornmeal. Half a cup of flour. We're going to put that in there. Now this is my 1 pound of sweet potatoes. This is exactly how my grandmother used to make it. She probably didn't add the butter, and she didn't add the milk, because remember back then they didn't have refrigerators, right? So when they make conkies, they had the larder. If you remember the larder, right? That you would store things in, your food and so on, and you store it in there. So conkies is something that it's not going to last for a very long time, because after a while the taste goes off and then you have to throw it out. You have to eat them as soon as you make them. Within a couple of days you eat them. If you put milk and egg inside of it, it's going to go off much earlier and it wouldn't last as long. My grandma used to make these every year. She'd give some to the neighbors, and people still do that. My sister would call me sometimes and say, this boy just stopped by and bought me like 6 or 7 conkies. People still do that because people are giving, okay? That's why I think people in Barbados flourish, because they're always giving. But anyway, now we're going to add our pumpkin, and this is 2.5 cups of pumpkin, and I'm going to add all of it.
2.5 cups or 2.5 pounds?
2.5 pounds, I'm sorry. This is 2.5 pounds of pumpkin. Gotta get my stuff correctly. Just use my hand to get all of it out. I love the color of that pumpkin. It's nice and pretty. Over here I have 1 whole coconut. So that's what you'll do. 1 whole coconut. And I have sugar here, 2 pounds of sugar. As I said, this is a lot of sugar, so you can use a little bit less than 2 pounds of sugar. But that's what the recipe calls for. And it usually tastes yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay, so this is, over here I have the 1/4 cup of raisins, and 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And as I said, we're missing the allspice that you would add in here as well. Okay, come over here so you could see inside here for what I am doing. Okay, so this is everything in here, guys. I'm just gonna give it a quick little mix up like this. Okay, now over here I have some lard. Oh, I keep saying lard. Guys, coconut. This is coconut oil, not lard. Oh my goodness. What's wrong with you today? I'm off today. Tinaraine, come back. Okay, guys, so this is 2 ounces of coconut oil here.
It's not. Okay, fine.
So this is 2 ounces of coconut oil here. Let me just rake this out just to make sure I get it all out of there. Ooh, uh-oh. Shoot. Look what I just did, guys. Look. It made it worse. Okay. I have here 8 ounces of butter. And the butter is softened, so you can soften up your butter. Or you can even melt the coconut oil and the butter together and just pour it in there. Okay. I have here 1 cup of milk. This is my 2 eggs that I've beaten. This is 2 cups of water. And I'm going to measure and I'm going to measure 1 teaspoon. Ooh, that's a half, guys. We need a whole one. Okay, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. And as I said, if you have your almond, you would also add 1 teaspoon of almond as well. So now all that is left for me to do is mix this up, combine it really well. So that's what I will do here. Just mix everything up together. And that's all. So you see, the hardest part about this is just getting those things grated and cleaning your banana leaves. Once you've completed all that, then you go ahead, you mix this all up together. And that's about it. Okay, guys. So you're gonna just make sure that you mix this well. So you combine everything together that you put in here. You have to make sure it's combined well, okay? And basically that's it. So guys, so now I have my saucepan here. I have a little bit of water in the saucepan and I have my steamer on here. I'm gonna end up using 2 saucepans because it's not gonna be big enough. So let me rest this over here. I have my conkies right here. That is all nice and stirred up, and this is what it looks like right here. So now the next step is to get my banana leaves. My banana leaves. Okay, so over here I have my banana leaf. Now remember earlier I told you these small pieces, you keep these small pieces because what's gonna happen is just sometimes the banana leaf, they're very fragile and they break very easily. So when you have these extra pieces, they serve as a layer. You can put in the center so that it doesn't leak, okay? So what I do here is I take 1 heaping teaspoon. No, guess I'm tired. So what I do is I take 1 heaping spoon. I guess I'm tired, guys. And I put as much as that here, and then I'm going to wrap it. And there's several ways that you can wrap this. I'm going to wrap it like this. I can go like this. And I go like this. And this is one way to wrap it. And I'm going to put another piece of this in here. And let me just scoop up 1 here. Okay. And another way to wrap it is you can wrap it this way. There's no right way or no wrong way to wrap your conkies. And you can wrap it like this. Bend it back like that. And there you go. There's no right way or wrong way. And rest it over there. And we're going to do this again. We put a little, and I'm going to take this and put in here just to make sure it doesn't leak. And I'll put that, and I always put like a scoop and maybe like a half in there. So when you're eating a conky, you don't get, you know, like a little thin skinny conky. You get, you know, a good hearty conky. And you bend your leaf like that. You fold it back there. You fold it back here, and this is it. So I'm gonna continue right here to make these conkies, and then as soon as I'm done, I'll come back and show you the finished results. So guys, I hope you can make some conkies. You know, watch the video, see how I make them. Go ahead and make some for yourself. Share with your family, share with friends. Follow this recipe just the way you do it, and they're gonna tell you how good they are, because these are good. And usually when I make these, I may end up making a second batch, probably tomorrow or so, because there's so many people that look forward to my conkies. That's kind of hard for me, because I think this made probably, I don't know, I think maybe like 20 or something. I don't remember, because I haven't made it in a while. But then when you give a friend a conky, you can't just give one conky. You have to give at least a couple of them. So I'm going to have to make some more. But guys, I'm going to continue here. As soon as I'm done, I will be right back. This is the last one here that I'm wrapping. So all together, I have a couple leaves left over, so I'm just going to put these to good uses. So all together for this batch that I just made, I got about 25 conkies. Scoops of 2 spoonfuls in each batch that I made. So I got about 25. So if you only put 1 scoop, you'll get more than that. You just have a smaller conky. But I used 2 scoops, so I got about 25. So that's pretty good. So I already got 1 pot on the stove that started to steam, and I have, because I have 2 steamers, so I have another one here. There's a little bit of water in here, and I put this on, so I'm just gonna cover it tightly. I have 4 more left over, so I'm gonna kind of put it in here, put it in the other one. I may have to put foil if the cover is not gonna sit on properly. I'll just put foil and put it on to cook. So these conkies, I'm going to cook for about, this should take about an hour, could be an hour and a half. Go ahead, you know when they're done, because you can smell them throughout the house when they're finished. And so probably about an hour, hour and a half, okay? That they should take. Then you turn your stove off and let it sit for a while, and then voila, you taste them. But I will be back to, I'm going to time it so I can tell you exactly how long it's going to take. And I will be back as soon as they're all done, and I will taste them for you. Conkies are all done. Here they are. Here they are. Guys, look at the conkies. They're here. This is what they look like. Of course, you saw me how I wrapped it up. And that's the conkies. I took a couple out here that let's push this over here. Give myself more space. I'm gonna open one for you, taste it, and tell you what it tastes like. I started to open this one a little bit just so that it could cool, because before you eat them, you need them to sit and cool for a while before you can eat it, okay? It's better to eat it at room temperature. Get all that stuff off, and there is your conky. Now you can eat it with a fork. You can eat it with your hand. You can eat it however you want to eat it. I'm gonna get the water. You can eat it however you want, but I will use a fork and go ahead. I'm going to taste it. I'm going to take it over here. And guys, that's your conky. That's what it looks like. Let me taste it now and tell you how it tastes. So I'm going to taste it for you. And you see there's one raisin right here, but you can see there's not a lot of raisins. So say you don't like raisins, you take the raisin out of there. And you could take a piece that don't have raisins. But I like raisins, so I'll eat that. So let me tell you now. And by the way, I have my tea also. I'll be drinking some tea. And this is how you eat conkies. You eat them in the morning with your breakfast. You can have it for breakfast in the morning. You can have it in the afternoon as a little snack, or in the evening after dinner, just have it for dessert. However you want to eat it, you enjoy it the month of November. Eat as much as you can. So let me go ahead and taste this. Now, let me tell you something about these conkies, see? If you're a person that makes conkies, but your conkies come up dry, taste this. Not taste this, try this. This is nice and moist. And that's the thing about the cornmeal. Sometimes if it's not moist enough, it gets very dry. And when you go to swallow, it's like stuck in your throat. Not here. That's why I add my egg and I add my milk, because I think that makes it, like, you know, moist. A lot of people don't like the egg and the milk. Don't add it if you don't want to. It's not a must. You have to do. But I like to add that. And every time I make these conkies, they're never dry. They're nice and moist. Please go ahead and taste. Go ahead and try it for yourself. See? Nice. I'm gonna have to make another batch of these. I have to take some for my sister-in-law. I have a friend at work that I take some for. My daughters, I have to freeze some for my daughter. My sister is coming up from Barbados. Yeah. She's gonna be coming and spending some time with me for around Christmas. And she already put in her order. She said, freeze mine. So I'm gonna have to do that. Guys, these conkies are delicious. It is time consuming. It takes a while, because if you have to grate all that stuff, and then with the plantain leaf, you know, you have to swinge the leaf and clean them up. It takes a while.
Banana leaves.
Oh. And if you have to take those banana leaves, and you have to swinge them and clean them off a little bit to make sure everything is nice and clean. So it takes a while. So if you're up for the challenge, go ahead and make some. It's not like 1, 2, 3. It's a process, okay? But it's worth it in the end. It is worth it. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I had fun doing this, and I hope you have fun making some for your family as well. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. Guys, if you're watching the video, you like what you see, just go ahead and press that little subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye-bye.